classical liberal and that people should be free to act as they wish. And so I was wondering what your stance was on the criminalisation or decriminalisation of drugs.
Okay. Yes, please.
You've referred a lot to history throughout your talk tonight, and you also mentioned that the voters need to feel like the Tory party can change the world. I just wondered, can the Tory party change the world, or are you a party that promotes stagnation or maybe even regression?
Well, okay, but as those are the last two questions, before I answer them, can I thank you very much for having me? It's been really interesting to come. Thank you for all the questions. I was told I would be put through the mill, and I think the questions have lived up to the billing. Thank you. But from my point of view, that makes it much more interesting. So I really appreciate that and the opportunity to discuss these issues. And Phil, thank you so much for inviting me. But to come to the two questions, the legalization of drugs. I think the state should always be very careful about what it makes illegal, but that in the case of drugs, the onus of proof is on the side of those who want to liberalize. What do I mean by that? There has been increasing evidence, particularly with cannabis, that it has serious psychological effects on people. And I think the people who are in favor of legalization need to show that those effects are not there. I've always thought in politics you should have very clear principles, but you have to have a dose of pragmatism as well, and you don't want to take undue risks. So, to take another example, gambling. If we didn't have any gambling laws, I would be very reluctant to introduce gambling laws. If you want to set up a bookmakers, if you want to have a bet amongst yourselves, why should the state interfere? But we've got very strict gambling laws. And the thing I've discovered as a constituency MP is that by and large they're quite successful. And I've had people come to my constituency surgery whose lives have been ruined by gambling. And is it wise of me, however much I believe in liberty, to say that my ideological belief in liberty should risk people absolutely destroying their lives because I made gambling easier? And the same applies to drugs, that ideologically, I see very clearly the argument for legalization. But then I know that it ruins people's lives. So the onus of proof, I think, is on people who want to legalize to say this will not have risks, this will be secure, this will be safe, it will not lead to more deaths or more crime or more lives being ruined. And so, without denying the ideology, I think in day-to-day politics you have to have a layer of pragmatism on top of it. Conservative Party, is it the party of change? Well, I think the role of the Conservative Party is to keep what doesn't need changing and to change what does. And that's easier said than done. But that I don't believe in perpetual revolution. I don't believe in throwing over the tables for the fun of it. But yes, lots of things need changing and improving. And the Conservative Party, when it's at its most successful, is a real engine of change. The brief, I don't know how long I've got, but Disraeli, 1874 to 1881, transformative social legislation on housing, on water, on public health, all about improving the condition of the poorest in society. Harold Macmillan building 300,000 houses a year, and Winston Churchill lifting all the post-war restrictions that still remained. And bear in mind, the Socialists wanted to keep rationing going on forever because they thought it was best determined by the clever people in Whitehall. Douglas Jay said in 1947, the truth is the man in Whitehall really does know best. That is the antithesis of what I believe. The Conservative Party did its best, frees people up, and helps the condition of the poorest in society. Margaret Thatcher, transformative in terms of freeing the economy from detailed regulation, stopping the trade unions, ruining people's lives by the closed shop, by mass picketing, by all the bullying that went with that. And that's our challenge. What should we be doing now that liberates the people and helps them lead the lives they want and encourages that change? And I think it's housing, I think it's taxation, and I think it's lowering the price of food, clothing and footwear once we've left the European Union. And there are really important changes we can make based on our idea. There's one simple idea, ladies and gentlemen. You know better how to lead your life than I know how to lead it for you. And therefore you should be left to lead it for yourself, and I should take obstacles out of your way rather than pretending that nanny knows best. The only nanny who knows best is my nanny in personal circumstances.